you think of monochrome outfits, what's the image that comes to your mind? I imagine it's probably not something that's very good, either because monochrome outfits seem too bold, too boring, generally intimidating, or maybe because for some reason whenever you search for monochrome outfit inspiration, it only shows you businessy images. It might seem daunting to try to put together a monochrome outfit, but luckily I'm here to teach you all my tips and tricks to make it fun. Hi, I'm Isabel. I make fashion content, mostly specializing in mid-size content. But I believe that no matter what body type you have, clothing should be about having fun and experimenting and trying out new things and discovering what you like and what that says about who you are. As I'm posting this, it's June 1st, which means that it is officially the beginning of Pride Month. Being LGBT is a huge part of my identity, and so was wearing colorful clothes, so I figured what better way to kick off Pride Month than putting together a whole rainbow of monochrome outfits. But before we get into the tips and tricks, let's talk about the question, why monochrome? Monochrome quite literally means one color, and so in fashion it means basing your outfit around a single color. This creates a framework for your look by limiting what items of clothing you can use, which makes it a great jumping off point for discovering your personal style, trying different outfit formulas, and just learning to create interesting outfits. Also, monochrome outfits can capture a really broad range of personal aesthetics and very different levels of how out there your outfit is. No matter what level of comfortability you have with fashion or with various different style techniques, there is always something for you within a monochrome outfit. For one person, a monochrome outfit might be a way to create a blank canvas to focus on specific details in an outfit. For example, the fashion designer Rick Owens is often thought to be the king of black and is referred to as a very minimalist designer. But in my opinion, he uses monochrome looks to be able to highlight different details and exaggerated silhouettes. He uses a lot of fraying and distressing silhouettes like exaggerated shoulders and drop crotches, and just overall generally really experiments with different forms and ways to make clothes interesting through detail rather than color and pattern. But on the other hand, someone might feel extremely emboldened by wearing really bright colors, such as the Green Lady of Brooklyn, who is her most authentic self when she is wearing the shade of very bright green and uses monochrome outfits to celebrate her favorite color and embrace the joy of being bold and bright with color. So the important thing to remember is that there's no right way to make a monochrome outfit work. It's just all about what kind of style you're going for. There are so many different ways to make interesting outfits with monochrome looks, and I love that that makes it easy for people to experiment with it and find what really works for them. Monochrome looks can teach you a lot about how to compose an outfit, how to add a lot of contrast, different textures, give it a more dimensional look, because a lot of those things are really key to making a monochrome outfit interesting. And there are actually really simple and low-key ways to wear all of the same color. There are pretty great chances that you have already done it, no matter who you are. If you've ever worn blue jeans with a blue shirt or a black dress with a black jacket on top, those all are monochrome outfits. Whether an outfit is monochrome or not, the main takeaway that I'm trying to get out here is that trying new, fun, and interesting styles is 1, something that you can do with clothes that you already have in your closet. 2, does not have to be based on trends. And 3, doesn't have to be outside your comfort zone. And very importantly, monochrome does not have to mean monotonous. So now that we've answered the why of monochrome, let's get into the how. The first thing to consider when putting together a monochrome look is fairly obviously looking at the color. There are so many different colors and within each color, so many different shades and tones. And there's just so much to play around with and so many different ways that you can make different combinations to help level up your look. The first kind of monochrome look that we're going to dive into is looks that are all the same color, but also all the same shade. This is a very impactful way to do a monochrome outfit because it's very bold and very eye-catching and really packs a punch with this is all the color that I'm wearing and you have to look at it. This can also be a great way to focus on details because anything that isn't exactly the same color is going to pop more, like buttons, zippers, even little details like hemlines and pleats and stuff. Those will all feel a lot more obvious in contrast to the color. For some, this kind of monochrome look can be boring because it can feel a little flat, but we will get into some tips later on different ways to do all the same shade of color, but give it a little bit more dimension. Also, before we get into the outfits that I have created, I just want to put a little disclaimer that I did not style full complete outfits. I was just putting together the very basic pieces to demonstrate what I was talking about. And for each look, I just wore the same shoes for consistency, and those should just generally be disregarded and not considered to be part of the look that I was creating. To demonstrate wearing all the same color, I put on this yellow cardigan and yellow pants. In person, they look very much the same color, but I see now on video that they're not exactly the same. This is largely due to the fact that the top is a different material, which we will get into later. But overall, most of the impact that this outfit has is completely based on the color. This is a more neutral shade of yellow. If you were to see me wearing this, I think you would notice very quickly that I was wearing all the same color, but it's not the same impact that it would have if I was wearing a very vibrant color. Another thing that you can do with the same color is use different shades. If one piece is more vibrant and bold and deep and rich, and the other is maybe lighter, more pastel, this creates very basic contrast in your outfit. And in fashion, contrast usually means a lot of dimension and interest. Dimension and contrast are things that I'm going to be talking about a lot, and in general they are things that make an outfit feel more creative or eye-catching, or are different ways that you can express your style. With different shades of the same color, it kind of helps break up the look so that your brain doesn't register it as being quite so bold, and makes it a little less flat because you're seeing different things, kind of. To demonstrate two different shades of the same color, I have on a more muted pair of green pants as opposed to a brighter green top. This creates a very noticeable contrast between the top and the bottom, where your eye is more drawn to the top because it's more vibrant. And you do notice that I'm wearing all the same color, but it does feel a lot less noticeable than with the previous yellow outfit, because wearing two different shades really helps break up how much all one color that I'm wearing, which definitely makes this a less intimidating approach to monochrome. In the same vein, you can wear different shades of a color, but have them be different tones. In color theory, there are warm colors and cool colors, so warm being red, orange, yellow, cool being green, blue, purple. But within each color, there are also different tones, so you can have a cool toned red, a warm toned green, things like that. So putting a warm tone color and a cool tone color within the same one color is also a very interesting way to create dimension and contrast. There's a lot of color theory that goes into this, but when you're using colors that have very different undertones, it changes your perception of what the color looks like when it's right next to the other color. So this is kind of a nice, easy way to wear the same color more than once, but have it feel a lot less vibrant and more subtle, and like generally kind of a more gentle approach to a monochrome outfit. To demonstrate different tones of the same shade, I kept on the same warm tone green top, but put on a cool tone pair of green pants. The warm tone green, in contrast with the cool tone green, has the effect of making the cool tone green seem a lot more muted, to the point where it looks more like a neutral than a green. So it almost doesn't even feel like I'm wearing the same color twice. So playing around with different tones of the same color is a pretty great way to be able to mix and match pieces that you have that are the same color without it being too scary. Another way to utilize one color in your outfit is to create a gradient. A gradient can help draw your eye through the whole outfit, either up or down, from light to dark, dark to light. And this can add variety and contrast without making the outfit blocky and giving it more of a flow. So instead of breaking up different parts of your body, you have more of a fluidity to your look. And again, having a more fluid or blocky look, one is not more correct than the other. It really is just all about what kind of look you're going for. To create my gradient outfit, I wore a blue sweater that was a very deep shade of blue with a lighter blue tank top layered underneath it and a much lighter pair of blue pants. Because the sweater or the top layer is the darkest shade of blue and the deepest, that's where your eye naturally lands first and then follows down through the rest of the outfit to the bottom. Much like with two shades of the same color, having three or more definitely helps having more to look at and more to pull your eye through. And for example, the color of the pants in comparison to the sweater is so light and such a different shade of blue that again, it almost doesn't seem like it's the same color, and it adds so much more dimension to the overall outfit. The next step up from color is pattern. So if a monochrome outfit seems a little plain or boring to you, an easy way to take that up a notch and give it a little more interest is to add a graphic or a pattern. It's super easy if you have one item that's solid colored and another that's the same color generally but has a pattern on it. It gives a lot more dimension to the outfit without really being intimidating because it's very easy. And I also think that a lot of people have a natural inclination to do this. If you have a striped shirt that is mainly one color, maybe you have an instinct to pair it with a skirt that's the same color. I think the human brain has a strong desire to match things, which can often come out in our clothing. So putting together things that are the same color is generally what we gravitate towards because of wanting patterns in our brain. Putting together a solid color piece and a pattern piece is also super simple because it can be done with basically any two items of clothing: a top and a bottom piece, a base layer and an outer layer like a jacket or a cardigan over a dress. The options are kind of endless. In an ideal world, this shirt would be plain, but I simply don't have that, so 901 is the best we've got. Pattern is kind of a cheat code to wearing all the same color, but adding in other colors for free very sneakily. The pants go a really long way in adding more color and dimension to the overall outfit without sacrificing the vibrancy of the orange. Color that you're picking to wear has a huge impact on how it overall looks because orange is a more vibrant color, so it has a huge impact. So being able to use a pattern or a graphic for a color like that can really help make it seem more complex and put together. The next level up from having one pattern is having two patterns. This is known as pattern clashing, and this is a very surefire way to make sure a monochrome outfit is not boring or flat. It gives the eye so much to look at, and it's so much more likely to be overwhelming to the brain than come off as flat. I know that I personally have trouble styling patterns sometimes, so trying pattern clashing is a really good and fun way to kind of break out of your comfort zone and break out of always styling a pattern piece the same way and try to use it in a new way and really get a lot more mileage on the clothes that you already have in your closet. And also, if you're learning how to do pattern clashing, working within the same general color scheme is a pretty good jumping off point for figuring out what different things work. So it can be very helpful if you're interested in trying to level up to more advanced pattern clashing. This really backs up my point because this is one of the first times I've ever tried pattern clashing, and it was super easy because I was working within all of the red items that I owned, which made it easy to notice that I had 2 red items with kind of dotted motifs. I actually really love how these look together. If you've seen my styling clothes I never wear video, you will recognize this shirt because I really never know how to put it with anything. This look mixes the way that pattern sneakily adds another color to make it less intimidating, but also takes advantage of the fact that pattern clashing is very bold, so it creates a very interesting contrast between not as vibrant but also much more vibrant, which is incredibly interesting. Then for a second example of pattern clashing, I went with something a lot less bold, and I did a dress on top of a skirt where only the bottom of the skirt is peeking out. It adds a very slight contrast, but I think it goes a long way in creating a look that is very interesting. For the next category of things that go into making a monochrome outfit, we're getting away from what the fabric looks like in terms of color and design and getting into the shape of the fabric in the clothes. A fun way to make a monochrome outfit that has a lot of dimension to it is to play with the silhouette of your clothes. An outfit with a lot of volume, such as a puffy sleeve or sleeves with shoulder pads or a bubble skirt or flare pants, all of these things add a lot of dimension to an outfit, and having a very dramatic silhouette element kind of draws your attention to that and sometimes away from the fact that you're wearing all the same color, which can be helpful if the idea of wearing all the same color is particularly intimidating to you. The more exaggerated the silhouette is, the more you focus on the shape of the clothes rather than the color. This skirt is one of my favorite pieces of clothing that I own because whenever I add it to an outfit, it instantly makes the silhouette so much more interesting because it's puffy. And then I also added this little cardigan thing on top of it. It's a nightwear lingerie type thing, but it has some lace details that add a bit of poof, and I think these two pieces together add so much more dimension than the fact that it's just a fully pink outfit. It really gives your eye a lot to focus on, and it doesn't distract you from the fact that the outfit is pink, but it makes it feel a lot more gentle. When you're looking at it, you're thinking more about the shape than anything else. A simple way to play with silhouette that's very common in a lot of outfit formulas is the concept of big top, tiny bottom, tiny top, big bottom, or any other way to describe a contrast between tight and loose items. The tightness and looseness of clothing is really a way to direct your attention to certain forms, and in the vein of big or small, different lengths and inseams and such can go a long way in lengthening or shortening different parts of your body. And proportions are a very important thing to consider when doing a monochrome outfit, because if you're not having variety with the color, having variety with the way that things fit your body and the parts of your body that are being exaggerated, and just generally what shapes are creating contrast, is kind of a key element in making a fun and interesting monochrome outfit. Having the contrast in shape can make your outfit feel a lot more thought out and elevated. This outfit is my interpretation of a big top, tiny bottom, both in the fact that the top is a lot longer, but also the fact that it's much more oversized, and the bottom is both shorter and tighter to my body. This has the effect of really lengthening my upper body and torso because most of your attention is drawn to how oversized the shirt looks in comparison to the skirt, because that's not the proportion that we typically expect from a general outfit. And of course this also works to shorten my legs, which I personally don't mind because the shape that it creates is so interesting. One of my personal favorite ways to have an interesting silhouette in an outfit is through a lot of layering. In general, the more layers you have, the more contrast and points of interest you're putting into your outfit, which comes off as more stylish and put together. Something like layering 2 skirts or a skirt over pants or even 2 shirts will create a new shape and add a lot more texture to your outfit that makes the monochromatic aspect chic and have a lot more dimension. Layering is one of the new loves of my life. I have a dress with kind of a wider skirt on, but then underneath the dress I have on some wide-legged pants that add a bunch more volume. And then to take it a step further, I also added a baggy top on top of the dress that has wide, poofier sleeves, which I didn't want the top to completely overtake the dress, so I tied it in the front. But overall, this creates a very baggy and flowy silhouette that has a bunch of different layers, and the different shades of green are also doing a lot in breaking up the outfit. And I think all of these things working together creates a silhouette that is very flowy and has a lot of interest. Another very important category for things that go into making an outfit, and especially a monochrome outfit, is texture. Texture adds in a lot of dimension because it's quite literally adding in shadows and highlights, the darkness in the ridges of corduroy or around the holes of knitwear, or the sheen on a satiny piece. Different fabrics and materials play a large role in how we interpret color and helps us differentiate it to create contrast and different points of interest. Even if 2 pieces are basically exactly the same shade, having different textures can create more of a dimensional feel and make the different elements of the outfit feel distinct and like they have their own personality, so that the outfit as a whole doesn't feel flat. This outfit is very similar to the very first all yellow outfit because both of these pieces are very much the same shade of orange, like surprisingly so, honestly. But then the skirt has pleats that add a lot of dimension. When you're looking in the valley of the pleats, they're shadows that are created by where your light source is, so that very literally adds a lot more dimension to the way that the skirt looks that helps differentiate it from the top. But the knit of the top is also doing kind of the same thing because in certain areas there are more shadows, but then in the holes of the knit it's letting through the color underneath, so you're seeing my skin or whatever I'm wearing underneath, which creates more spots of light. So overall, while the 2 pieces are the same color, the very slight variation in texture and shades and shadows creates a lot of dimension that goes a long way in making this outfit more appealing. For the most part, having different textures comes down to using different clothing materials, and the materials that you're using for different elements of your outfit change the weight of the piece. A knit piece will add a lot of weight and bulk, whereas a satin or a silk piece will add more slimness and slinkiness. Much like with a gradient outfit, having an outfit with pieces that are all the same material can add a lot of flow to your outfit and create a sense of cohesion even if there is contrast in different colors, different shades of the same color. Technically. This particular outfit takes advantage of layering and the different shape it creates because both of the pieces are very flowy, which is ultimately a result of what material they are. It's a very silky, satiny material that has a lot of slink and flow that makes you want to move around, and pairing these items together goes a long way in making them flow together, in addition to the shape that is creating. I did briefly pull the dress up a little bit more just that you could see more of the pants and have more of the definition of the different colors and the wide-legged and see how it would flow around a bit more. And overall, this look is very uniform and very bold. There's a lot of the same going on, so the color is the main thing that you're noticing, which makes it very bold. Whereas using different materials is a way to add dimension and creativity to the outfit. When you think of the way that silhouettes change an outfit, you'll start to notice patterns of what different materials and fabrics are the ones that usually create more exaggerated silhouettes. especially with materials that have more weight and volume to them. Materials also have really big seasonal associations with them, which can create very interesting visual associations within an outfit. With this outfit, I wanted to play with two different clothing items that were very different materials that have very different associations. So on top, I have a sweater vest that is obviously a lot heavier and kind of draws your eye to the bolt against a silk dress that feels more flowy, perhaps summery. So even though both of these colors are a lot more muted, there's a good amount of contrast because the sweater vest adds not only a lot of bulk but also a lot of texture, and overall there's a lot going on in this outfit that makes it feel very much both summer and fall. So thinking about different textures and materials can create a lot of contrast. Aside from the actual material of an outfit, details can also add a lot of texture to an outfit. This can be ruching, lace, cutouts, knitwear, sparkles, buttons, embroidery, really anything that you can add to a piece to make it fun. Having these unique elements on a piece really brings it to life and really makes it stand out and be differentiated from the other things you're wearing, even if they're the same color. It adds a ton of visual interest and is one of my favorite ways to make a monochrome outfit more interesting. In this outfit, I feel like it's difficult for your eyes to not be immediately drawn to the little detail, which of course are the cutouts on the sleeves of the shirt that I'm wearing underneath the slip dress and the lace trim on the top and the bottom of the slip dress. Having these details adds so much texture and dimension to the overall look. If you were able to see the shirt up close, you'd also be able to see that there was ribbing, and so the contrast between the texture of the shirt and the slinkiness of the satin slip also gives a lot more nuance and complexity to the overall outfit. And also, texture isn't just about what pieces of clothing you're wearing and what material they're made out of. The accessories you're wearing also counts because they have a huge visual impact on how overall you are being perceived. Having on a belt or a hat or jewelry or a scarf or fun socks, all of these things change the different weights to different parts of your body, and these things can also change your proportions and break up your outfit in different ways. Where you're putting the accessories has a huge impact on where your eye is being drawn, what parts of your body is being broken up, how many materials you have on you, so just generally how many textures are on your person that contribute to the way that your outfit is being perceived. In this outfit, I don't even have that many accessories on, but I do think it goes a long way in adding texture because there are so many things for your eyes to land on. My eyes immediately are drawn to the way that the purse splits up the outfit and creates a line in my body and goes a long way in breaking up the pinkness of the top and the skirt. And then next, I am noticing a lot of the accessories. I have on a bracelet that's kind of hard to see, but there are also beaded earrings. And then the other thing my eye is very drawn to is the pin that I have attached to the sweater vest. So you see the blue stand out a lot. So all of these things, along with the accessories that I have in my hair, adds more to the texture that is just present in the knit of the top and the subtle pattern of the skirt. This is a bit of a bonus category because it's slightly different from everything else because it's not something that is necessarily tangible within an item of clothing, and that is vibe. Vibe is something that is very important to utilize in making a monochrome outfit because you can lean very heavily into a single aesthetic or kind of like pattern clashing. You can do vibe clashing. It can be as simple as something more feminine paired with a more masculine element, something sporty with a more whimsical aesthetic, cottagecore look with business casual. And again, this is just another way to create contrast, and it's very informed by things like materials and textures and details. But ultimately, the way that we perceive the vibes of different clothing items has a lot to do with cultural association and how different items of clothing and the way that they look are perceived within our society. Trying vibe clashing was very fun because it's not something that I have a natural inclination towards. So I went with a very oversized Hawaiian shirt that obviously feels very casual, kind of likely reminds you of more of a dad aesthetic. And then I paired that with a very sleek skirt that feels a lot more formal and elegant. And I think the contrast that these two pieces provide creates something that's incredibly interesting. If I wasn't doing this, I probably never in a million years would have thought to put these pieces together, but I honestly really enjoy the way that it looks. It feels very fun and playful and unexpected. So that really goes to show how playing around within a single color can really open your mind up to different possibilities that you probably wouldn't have considered otherwise, where you'll end up with something very unexpected but also very interesting and creative and fun. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I had a ton of fun making it and racking my brain for why monochrome outfits are interesting to me and truly thinking about what goes into them and the way that it can be a jumping off point or a frame of reference for doing other styles and trends and just figuring out your own personal aesthetic within a small amount of clothing in your wardrobe to use that to kind of fill in the gaps for where you want to go when you have more freedom outside of a single color. Also, I shouldn't be surprised that I had enough clothing to do two monochrome outfits at least in every color, and yet I was shocked to find out. Who knew I had that many orange pieces of clothing? I'd love to know what your thoughts on monochrome outfits are, and especially if maybe your thoughts have changed after watching this video and maybe you're a little more intrigued and interested in trying them out. I would also love to hear if you had a favorite outfit that I put together. And also, obviously, I just did kind of a base for all of the monochrome outfits, so let me know if you'd like to see some of those monochrome outfits expanded on and truly turned into a whole complete look. Thank you so much to everyone who watched this. I love you all. I would really appreciate it if you liked and commented and subscribed if you haven't, and just know that if you subscribe, you become one of my balls of joy, and for all of my balls of joy, keep bouncing!